And this is my presentation for our given flight route for AVI 325. So we're going to cover a few things here. We're going to talk about the PAVE checklist, and we are going to talk about some other factors that are involved, and we'll make a decision regarding if we're going to do this flight or not. First, let's talk about the P in the PAVE checklist, which is the pilot. Our pilot is a commercial pilot with 380 hours and 125 of which are cross-country. That is a good amount of experience. However, I would not call this pilot an experienced pilot. And he's never flown out of that area before. And this should not be an issue as long as he uses all the resources that are available to him regarding his departure, his destination, and all the airspace in between. But we're going to go ahead and give our pilot a green flag. I think he is qualified for this flight as long as he stays VFR. And the aircraft is a Cessna 172 Sierra with G1000 avionics. G1000 is a very sophisticated equipment. It's very reliable. It can give you a lot of information. It's a very good tool. And it seems like that our pilot does have experience with the G1000 since he's flown out of that school before. Otherwise, I would not have recommended this aircraft for this flight since the G1000 is a very complicated instrument. So the aircraft also gets a green flag. I think it is proper for this flight. And it seems like that all the inspections are up to date and the oil change is recent, which is important. Next, we're going to talk about the environment, which is the V in the PAVE checklist. Our departure airport, which is Kilo Charlie Yankee Sierra. We have a little bit of wind coming from 260. Visibility is 10 statute miles, which is very good. We have a few clouds at 7,000, a few clouds at 10,000. The biggest thing that stands out to me is temperature and dew point are very close. So this could lower our visibility, let's say if temperature drops down to 14. So our pilot has to be mindful of that. And right before the flight, check the METARs again, or even go outside and see if you see any indication of fog forming. And we also have a altimeter setting of 3007. Our airport is at 6,160 feet. So this puts our density altitude at the given temperature at 7,697 feet. That is a very high density altitude. However, we do have 9,000 feet of runway to work with. They should be doable, but not recommended in my opinion. And we do have an operating tower at the time of departure. However, we do not have an operating tower at our destination at the time of arrival. The tower closes at 2200. So we'll be arriving at 5:30 Zulu, which is about 10:30, or maybe I think we'll arrive closer to 11 p.m. local time. This is before sunrise. We do have winds and visibility are good for this flight. We do have some thunderstorms rolling in prior to our arrival. And the thunderstorms are going to be there right before the tower closes. So this gives the tower and the airport maintainers to see if there's any debris that comes with this thunderstorm and clear the runway for us. So this is why I prefer to have an operating tower at the time of arrival too. We'll get back to this later. And so yeah, due to rain and thunderstorms, it's important to check the NOTAMs, check the comments before arrival to make sure that the runways are in good condition. And we also do have the factor of temperature and dew point dropping again at our destination airport. But when we are arriving, winds should be variable at about 5 knots. We're going to have plus 6 statute mile visibility, and there's going to be showers in the vicinity. Some clouds at 2,500 and few clouds at 2,500 and scattered at 8,000 and broken at 25. So we do have clouds, but this is VFR conditions, however, not ideal for a night flight, in my opinion, since you can't see where the clouds are at night. So even if there is scattered clouds, you might end up running into them when you're cruising at 9,500. So the environment gets a yellow flag for that reason. External pressures, I don't think it would be a factor in this flight. They are going for a sightseeing trip. It's a non-essential trip per se. It could be canceled for any reason, for example, illness of the passenger or the pilot. If the weather changes, this flight can easily be canceled and should be canceled if there is anything unforeseen. I'm going to give external pressure a green flag. I don't think it would be a factor. Our route, we're going to start from Kilo Charlie Yankee Sierra, and we're going to fly northeast. Upon departure, we'll follow the I-85 as closely as we can due to the lack of safe landing spots in this area. We're going to fly in between these two airports, and one of them being Kilo Bravo Foxtrot Foxtrot, and we do have a VOR station near that airport. This could be useful in case we lose our nav aids, we lose our GPS. We can use our VOR to navigate through this route. So we'll go straight to Kilo Bravo Foxtrot Foxtrot using our VOR and work our way up from there. After that checkpoint, we're going to fly straight up to Kilo Charlie Delta Romeo. We're just going to overfly this airport. It is a Delta airspace airport, but at our cruising altitude, that's not going to be an issue. And if we do need to land there, all we have to do is contact tower, make two-way communication, and request a landing. From there, we'll go straight north. We do have another airport over there that we can use as our checkpoint. That is the only visual cue we really have in that area besides the highway underneath us. And from there, we'll go to Kilo Romeo Alpha Papa. So for this flight, we can take about 50 gallons of usable fuel. I will get full tanks since it's just two people and we don't have much information about how much baggage we have. And then we're going to go with a high number of 10 gallons per hour for this flight, just to be conservative with our fuel, make sure we have enough fuel. We should be landing with 2 hours worth of fuel left in our tanks, which meets the legal and my personal minimums. However, again, there is not a lot of emergency landing spots here. It is a mountainous area. We don't have a lot to work with. So I'm going to give the route a yellow flag for this reason. Now, let's make our decision. Are we really going to do this flight or not? Our pilot and aircraft are capable. There's nothing wrong with the plane. There's nothing wrong with the pilot. External pressures are not really a factor. However, the flight is planned to happen when it's dark outside, and we also don't have an operating tower upon arrival. And there's not a lot of emergency spots. So these three things alone, for me, would be an indication that we need to wait this out. If we wait until morning, let's say instead of 8:30 p.m., if we depart at 6 a.m. or 5:30 a.m., whenever sunrise is, we'll have that element of visual cues once we're in flight. In case we get lost, in case our G1000 is out of service, we can always look outside and get an understanding of where we possibly are. That's why we have those checkpoints in our flight plan. And waiting for this flight could also help us lower the density altitude so we get better performance in case we have to do a go around, in case we need to climb to get above a mountain or something. It just overall gives us a better grip on the flight if we have a lower density altitude and we have daylight and we have an operating tower that can help us. So yes, thank you for listening to me. I hope that our pilot decides to stay on the ground for the night, get some rest, and do the flight in the morning. Thank you.